Hello and welcome to Darkshed Live. It's Sunday, May the 3rd. We are on episode 11 of Darkshed Live, I think. Evening, how's it all going? Hope you're all doing well. Just need to do a couple of technical bits that I'm lagging on. I'm trying to stream to Twitter tonight. I don't know why. Just thought it'd be a thing to do. But I'm not entirely sure that it's working. Forget it. Let's just stay on YouTube and Twitch. So then, how's it all going out there? I'm sorry I'm broadcasting a bit late today. Exhausting couple of days, lack of sleep and stuff. So I thought I'd delay a bit today to try and give me a chance to do some bits in the darkroom before going live, and I really wanted to carry on with the solarization techniques today, but the stuff that I've tried to prep today I've just not had any success with at all. So I was trying to mix up a special developer for solarization. It's been about a year since I've mixed up my own dev using the raw chemicals, and it would appear that something's going wrong in the process I'm doing. So, and I haven't had a chance to kind of work out what that is yet, but basically as I'm adding one of the raw chemicals, the mix is just going completely black. It starts out like a dark tea colour and then just goes black, so I'm doing something wrong, but I'm not in the right headspace to resolve that at the moment. Evening Mark, thank you for joining again, hope you're doing okay. So yeah, success with that. Annoying. Anyway, so a couple of you, Mark, you have reminded me, and Hilary as well, that I stated the times in GMT a couple of times for when the broadcasts are. Instead of BST, obviously I should be it's BST, so thank you very much for that. So to clarify, my broadcasts normally happen at 11 AM on Thursdays and 2 PM on Sundays. I might change this 8 PM slot on Sundays permanently. Let me know what you think. The problem for me at the moment is by this time of the day, sometimes I'm actually asleep by 8 PM at the moment, so I'm struggling a bit. So I'll see, but I think it kind of makes more sense to do them evening times for people to catch them live. Evening Tara and evening Hilary, great to see you both. Thank you for joining today. So on Thursday, I did a couple of experiments with doing Polaroid lifts. I failed miserably at that, and the Instax one, the Polaroid one, it was because of the film I was using was incredibly expired, so there's no way of actually kind of separating the emulsion from the negative within that. And Instax, I tried, but couldn't get into that. I even carried on doing it and tried some bleach on the back of it. That didn't work either. So I think that's a dead end trying to do anything with Instax. But Polaroid, hopefully going to carry on with that at some point. I'm hovering over the buy button for some Polaroid film. I'm a bit gutted because apparently Polaroid had a free delivery a couple of weeks ago, which I totally missed, so I might just wait for something like that to come around because it's fairly expensive stuff. Anyway, on that note, Hilary sent through a great video of her doing a Polaroid lift, and she's a pro, and I'm going to show you that video shortly, so thanks for sending that through, Hilary, it's brilliant. But first of all, I'm just going to get started and do some film development, so I just want to get it going and then we'll come back to that video shortly. So tonight I thought I needed to develop some film, so I thought I would do it tonight. I've already loaded the film into the reels, and I'll show you that. Just show you them. So I use a Jobo processor, which I haven't turned the camera on for yet. And it's kind of, I guess, a semi-automatic process for developing black and white film. Just means you don't have to do the agitation part. excuse me, you still have to put all the chemicals in yourself and everything. All that part's still manual, but you can kind of step away while the agitation's taking place. So hopefully you can see on here, I've got this tank here. I've got 4 rolls of HP5 in there, which I shot at 800 ISO, and I preloaded all that in the dark onto the reels and into the tank. In here, so the way the Jobo processor works is you've got a water bath in the bottom here. Hopefully you can see all this. You've got a water bath in the bottom. At this end there's a heater and there's a pump under here, and that pumps water through to the top, which you can make this water deeper, and then that keeps the tank at the same temperature as well and heats up all your chemicals. It's not as relevant with black and white, but for colour it's amazing because it like gets everything to the right temperature and keeps it at it, which is great, and it keeps everything consistent, which I'm a fan of, so it's all repeatable. You pour the chemicals into the top. I'm actually just going to get started on this because then it can just sit there and develop away while I just need my phone for the timer. So I use this app here. You can see that it's a Film Developer Pro, I think it's called, and it gets its times from the massive dev chart. So it's got the time in for HP5 at 800. 1+1 dilution of ID11 is what I've got mixed up. In my previous episode I showed how I mixed up a massive batch of ID11. You can set the temperature and how long. This is continuous agitation, and then there's a little motor on this which then turns the tank backwards and forwards, just rotates the chemicals nice and evenly over the surface. If you've got any questions, dump them in the chat and I will get back to them soon. So basically you pour the chemicals in the top here, that then feeds through a pipe into here, and then when it's done you lift the handle and the chemicals flow out to this pipe here, so you can actually collect and reuse if you need to your chemicals. So let's just start the timer. It's got a 5-second countdown. Okay, and in we go. So the great thing about this, the amount of chemicals you need. I'll stick that last bit. Technically, so for this I only need, it's probably 750, 800 mil for that. For a small, for the small tank, you only need, what is it, 200? I can't remember what it is. It's 270. In that I always put 300 in. 270 mil in the small tank, and that will do 2 rolls of 35, one of 120. Or 6 going on here. 6 of the 4x5s. So let's just go back and see that. Sorry, my camera's stopped working. Great technology. Ah, good evening. Alex just joined this evening. Great to see you. Oh no, what's going on? Has my internet gone down? What's happened here? Am I back? This is the question. Nobody knows. Right, working again. Let's try and... Oh, I think my internet's gone down. Sunday nights, everybody's online streaming iPlayer, aren't they? I should probably check to see if my partner's watching Netflix or something. I think it might. Ah, it's all gone to pot. I'm going to try and disconnect the whole thing, then reconnect. Hold on. Back in a minute. Kind of working. Oh man, technology is not on my side tonight. Yes, I think it's working. Oh, it's gone all stuttery again, isn't it? Right, I'm going to keep this short tonight then, because this is not working very well. This must be great entertainment, just watching me looking around a computer screen, eh? This is why I don't like technology. If all this was analog, it was like dedicated pieces of hardware, it would work fine, wouldn't it? No. Well, the good news is the timer is running down quite rapidly for the development. I might have to call this quits. I think my internet's gone to pot. Right, this is a no-go tonight, unfortunately. Oh, right. Alex is saying it looks good. Maybe I'll carry on. Right, let's do a quick test. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you can see me count to 4, if it all looks okay, see, it doesn't. That to me doesn't look like it's streaming. So if you see and hear that, fine, then I'll just carry on. So please let me know in the comments. Right. Okay, well, you're all saying that it's all good, so on that note, I will just carry on blindly and hope that you can see what I'm doing. So where was I? Oh right, I've got 6 minutes until the developer finishes, so let's just have a quick run through this. Most of you have probably seen this sort of setup before if you use Patterson tanks for your home development. The thing, I guess, with the Jobo is the same. Once you've kind of got set up with the equipment, it can be used for loads of stuff. It's brilliant. I was fortunate. I bought this years ago off. I bought the whole setup off a guy who used to do all the developing of film for fashion magazines in London. And obviously that market dried up, but he was just selling his gear off, and I managed to get it all in one massive job lot. So you have a tank, you have your reels. The reels can be used for 35mm and expanded out to a 120, if I can get that in right. I'll do it right. Like that. And in the smaller ones here, like I say, you can get 2 of those in. Doing all that in the dark, obviously you put that in there, and that takes 270mm for the 2 rolls of 35 or 1 of 120. You can also do 6 sheets of 4x5, so this is the 4x5 folder. You get sheet film in the dark, obviously. Emulsion side, make sure that goes the inside like that. Slides quite neatly in there, and then there are grooves there, and then the other side going that side, and you can get 6 in there, and they're all nicely separated. Then you can stick these little clips on like that, just hold them in place, and that goes in there. Stick the lid on, and then you're light safe. Okay, so all basic stuff. The way these are designed, they've got little plastic cogs around the top, and that then hooks into the gear system for the agitation on the actual device. Anybody want me to show you how to load a film into one of those? I'm assuming that most people have either done it or seen it a million times. I guess one thing that comes up for me that I don't always see people do that I find helps a lot is snipping the corners off these. So when you go to load into the reel, take that off, then you just take the corners off like that, and then that really helps load into the reel. So I do that. Look at this, going everywhere. Obviously that doesn't normally happen. And then you can just pull that through a bit like that, and then it'll just load really easily. Obviously not letting that happen. Right, quick question from Hillary. What happens to the 4x5 if you don't put the emulsion on the outside? You get uneven development. So the way this sits in the tank, you can imagine that goes, so that's your emulsion side there. That goes in like that way. So when it's on its side, the chemical sits on top of the emulsion. You can imagine it would be in there. So you get nice even development. If it's in that way round, gravity is not on your side, so you can lead to uneven development. Although I've put it in the wrong way around a couple of times, and it's still been fine, because what's happening is it's completely immersed in the chemical. When it's in there, chemical sits probably to about there. Yeah, okay. So it's completely submerged in it anyway, but it's just kind of best practice, I think, to put it in the other way around. So are there any questions about that? It's all fairly self-explanatory, I think. Let's go over to the actual Jobo itself. Anything else come up? Got 2 minutes left. Countdown's on. So yeah, once it's loaded and the lid's on, you're completely light tight. Then it kind of clips into here, and then I don't know if you can see that the gears here kind of oscillate between going one direction and then the other. So you get nice agitation there. It's got temperature settings on. You can go up to 49 degrees if you really wanted to. I don't know what process would use that. And then all your different chemicals can sit in this tray here that ultimately sit in the water bath. So I've got developer, stop, fix, and then I've got 3 washes for this. And then I've got my wetting agent. That's my final stage. Some distilled water and wetting agent for the final wash before I start drying them. Right, 1 minute left. So as with when you use like a Patterson tank, you kind of want your timings to be at the end of like your pouring motion. So because this is quite a large tank, I'll actually start pouring it out just before the time is up. And then I'll get the stop ready as well, so that can go straight in. Hopefully you can see this happening. So you've got this little pipe here, put that into the word has slipped my mind. Put it in there, recollect your chemicals. So 5 seconds left, let's start pulling it out. So you can see it disengages from the gear. It pulls out into there. Make sure that's tripped off nicely. Then we're going to pull the stop in. Quick stop. ID11, you can reuse that, but I'm just going to use it as one shot, so I'll dispose of that. And ditch the stop out. As you can see, it's nice and easy to use. There's no kind of messing around with jugs and funnels or anything like that. It's just keeps things nice and clean. And then with the fixer. So this model is the CPP2, which is the larger one that's available. I think there is actually, like, you can buy them new. They cost a fortune new, and there's like the latest model of it, and there's a smaller version which I think is, I want to say it's called CPA, which is they're available a bit cheaper, and I think the maximum you can do in that is probably that size tank. As you can see, like, I'll show you this. So this came with the setup that I've got. They kind of bolt together, they clip together, so you can do a huge number of rolls in one session. I don't know how you'd pour that amount of chemical in there. It makes no sense to me. But if you're doing a huge batch job, then yeah, that can handle it. You can use it for paper. Like I think you can use it for paper as well. So if you did, like, that would handle like a 20 by 24 roll of paper, wouldn't it? Which would use less developer to do. So I can kind of see how that would work. So, got any questions come in? Would it matter in an upright Patterson tank if you put, if you put these from Hillary, if you put the emulsion on the outside in a Patterson tank that was upright? Would it matter? I don't think so. Is that for 35mm and 120? I don't think it would matter, other than you wouldn't be able to get it on the reel very easily if you did it the wrong way around. But regards the agitation, I don't think it would. Yeah. Alex, do the lids seal better in those than the Patterson? So the lids on these, they clip on really easily and nicely, but because you're not agitating it and turning it upside down to do agitation, you're not worried about leaks. I do think you can get tops for them that you can use for stand development and for hand agitation, but these are great. They just clip, like I say, they clip on really easily and just fit and form a nice seal. Although actually it does matter that they form a nice seal, because when it's outside it would leak out otherwise, wouldn't it? So yeah, I think they're quite expensive compared to the Patterson ones, unless you find a good deal on them. Especially, I don't even know if you can get these new now. But to me, it was just, like I say, I bought it all years ago, and it was worth investing in this system over the Patterson. They ultimately do the same job, though, don't they? The Patterson ones, like, you have to pop them, don't you? Before, otherwise air gets trapped and gets pushed out, and then you get chemicals everywhere. Been a while since I've used one of those. I've got one of those actually. So this is the pattern. I use this for workshops, just for people to use, because this is more likely what people are going to use at home. So this is a screw lid, pretty similar, I guess. Is that what you mean, Alex? That sort of thing, and then with the bung that goes on top, like that. Right, so the fix has been in for 4 minutes, so let's go in there and take that out now. First wash. So washing wise, I do like the similar to is it the Ilford method it's called, where you do 5 agitations with the first one, dump that water, 10 agitations, dump that water, fresh water, and 20 agitations. I run for 5 alternate rotations on this, approximately. So that's probably the first one done. And then obviously I don't collect that water, just let everything is safe. Mix up the water again. What I'm going to do is I tend to give it a couple more washes than that. So how are everybody watching this developing their own film? Are you using paths and tanks, and are you doing stand developments or constant agitation? What developers do you use? Does it depend, or have you got a favourite that you always use? I think that's 10. I haven't really been counted. Normally I'd just set my watch and do 1 minute, 2 minutes, 4 minutes. I haven't been watching this at all. I'll let that wash on the final one for a bit longer. Sound effects are great. Oh, is it disconnected again? So what have we got here? 2 minutes. I'm just going to try and improve the streaming quality. Right, let's see if that works. Ay, technology. Right, so Hillary has been using Caffeinol, Alex uses Bleeny Kips 341. Oh, stand development for C41, interesting. White HC 110. I'm not doing one film at a time in a Patterson tank. Dedication. Right. Probably wash now, so let's go back to this. Dump Turn all that off now. Do that over here. There we go. All fully developed. Splash of wetting agent. Distilled water. I hope I've got enough in here to cover them. Just do a couple at a time. Right, I'll put gloves on at this point. Don't want to get my greasy fingers over them. What I do now is take a couple of these off at the moment. Put those up there. I'll just put it in there with the wetting agent and give it a good shake around. And I'll normally do that for a minute. Some more water in that. I put a bit too much wetting agent in there, it's frothing quite a lot. In there. Then I've got a what is it, a Durst UT100 drying. It's not a cabinet. It's a just a heated fanned space to hang them. I'll turn the camera on that in a second. So doing this. I'll do that for a bit longer. And then hopefully, quick look. Looking good. Oh. What I failed to do. Get my scissors ready to trim the end off. 2 seconds, I'll turn the camera around. Right. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Oh, we can do this. I didn't plan this part. Hopefully you can see this. Clang. So, that's the drawing cabinet. Lock that off so you can see me hanging the next one up. Way too much flame on these. Where did I put my scissors? The scissors down somewhere. Oh, there. So part of the reason these are too long is they're from a bulk roll. So I've got about 39 shots on some of these. Don't quite fit in here. Oh, that's annoying. Anyway, that'll be okay. Just put that on, and then I'm just gonna make sure my fingers are wet. So just gently run my fingers down just to get rid of some of that excess flame. Right, just got to wash these last two. Check. Is it still streaming okay? That is the question. Am I just talking to myself? Which is normally the case. So I've got these little clips for weighting the film down as well. Technically this dryer can take 6 rolls, but it gets a bit of a squeeze in there and sometimes they end up sticking to each other, which is a bit of a pain. I can't actually remember what's on some of these. I think they're mainly family photos. I did go out and do some kind of lockdown style ones. I'll document what's going on in the local area, so they might be on here as well. Yeah. Anybody working on like a lockdown project? Oh, Mark, those photos look great, by the way, that you took on that expired. Obviously, apart from the expired factor of the film, the actual photos themselves look brilliant. Have you taken any more? I'm documenting what's going on at the moment. My friend Kay, photographer. She invited me to help judge a competition that she ran over the last month or so on social distancing photo competition. She let me help her judge the entries on Friday, which was great fun, seeing everybody's entries. Really interesting. And she announced the winner today. It's a lovely photo of two teenage girls in a back garden, neighbours, and the fence had been blown down between them, and obviously they can't be near each other, so they're sat separately in their gardens, just talking to each other. I think I put it on my Facebook. It might be on Twitter as well, so yeah, check it out. It's a really cool photo. Right, so let's have a quick look at questions. What's improved? Excellent. Yeah, everything seems to have stabilised here actually. It's all, my computer is starting to lock up, so hopefully that's all sorted now. Mark says he uses the wetting agent in the last rinse rather than as an extra stage. Yeah, how many washes do you do? You do 2 washes and then your third final wash has the wetting agent in. So yeah, I don't think it matters. I think you can overwash film. I read somewhere technically it's good to have a little bit of fixer still there. Most people, I think, just chuck it into the tap, don't they? The Patterson tank. You leave it all in, turn the tap on, blast it with water for ages just to make sure it's really clean. Alex has asked, did you say the dryer has a fan and a heater? Yeah, it does. Yeah, you can have it without the heating element, so it's just a fan. And it's got 2 heater settings. I don't normally have it on the hottest, and in summer I don't have it on any heat at all. There's little switches at the top, I don't know how well you can see them, determine the heat and whether you've got the fan on or not. It's great. I was looking for that on eBay for so long. I bought a film drying cabinet and I got it for 50p off eBay to drive up to Manchester to get it. And I brought it back down and it was too tall to fit in the dark shed. So that's currently lying on its side in the garage and used to store things on. So yeah, I was looking for one of these discs for so long on eBay at a decent price. But they're great. But the only thing is they're not quite tall enough, I don't think. Like I was saying, as soon as you're fine at 36 shots for 35mm. Anything longer than that, it just gets caught at the bottom. So I prefer it to be a little bit longer, but it's fine. That's a small issue. Yeah, if anybody wants the film drying cabinet that I've got, the electrics in it don't work, so the fan broken and everything. But I just wanted it as a space that I knew was dust free, that I could put them in and shut the doors on and walk away from. Because the problem I have in here is it's just a mess. So there's constantly stuff flying around. To do a bit of kind of woodwork in here as well, which is a terrible thing to do in a dark room, I know. But as long as I keep my film clean, I figure it's okay. So if anybody wants a massive film drying cabinet, it's just a big chunk of metal, you're more than welcome to it. Mark's saying, no more snaps so far, I just need to know printing a difficult frame, and that stage is done. 2 plus 2. Oh, sorry, so yeah, Mark's also saying 2 plus a third as 20 agitation with the agent. I guess it doesn't, if you really want to conserve water, then when you do it in the final, I don't know if that completes the wash by doing that, because I'm not sure having the wetting agent in equates to being a wash, because the wetting agent repels water, doesn't it? Maybe it does, I don't know. Did you read that somewhere, or is that just something that that's your routine sort of thing? Alex is asking, does it have filters that need changing? Oh, in the dryer. There is a filter at the top. I'll just go and have a look. Let's go and have a look together, shall we? Watch me break it now and everything come crashing down. So a couple of films are starting to bunch together. This is the problem that I've got with one. Because one of the rolls is 39 frames, it's just pushing out a bit at the bottom. Right, let's have a look. Just touch it. Oh, what's this? Do I want to take that off now? I probably don't while it's on. It feels like there's a filter on the top, which probably can be changed, but it doesn't feel like it's anything particularly special. So it can probably be replaced with like some sort of, I don't know, aquatic filter or something like that, fairly cheaply. I'm not saying just a bad habit. Yeah. I'm glad I didn't take that off. Yeah, this, I haven't had, how long have I had that film drying cabinet? Probably just over a year. And it was one of the best investments, because once your films are like, they're perfect at this point. So when it comes to printing, like a quick blow with the airbrush thing that I've got hardly any dust on there. And then when it comes to scanning, yeah, I've got dust all over the scanner, but not too fussed about that. It's like, to me, that like the printing part is the pain. If you've got dust or marks or anything at that stage, it's just impossible to get rid of. So yeah, it's well worth the investment. Right, I think that's going to be it for tonight. Thanks for bearing with me while, oh, I know. we've got the best thing to show yet, and that is nearly forgot Hillary's video. So I tried doing the Polaroid list last week. They were awful, and Hillary recorded this great video showing how she does it, and it's amazing. On that note, I'll just run this and be back in a second. Check this out, guys.
Okay, I'm going to try an emulsion lift. Freshly taken photograph, as you can see. It's not brilliant, but with it being geometric, I thought it might at least show how well I can get the edges of the lift, or how badly I can get the edges of the lift. It's new rebranded Polaroid 600 film. So I'm going to cut the white border off. I have done it before when I've peeled the white border off, but the edges underneath seem to be a lot stickier than the bits in the middle, and I ended up tearing it, so for the moment I'm cutting it off. Now, this is boiling hot water. I'm going to peel. As you can see, the front, the clear bit comes off really well, and I'm now going to drop that in there and wait. And hopefully you can see that the edges off pretty much immediately, and the white gooey bit underneath goes all wrinkly. So I've got two very small paintbrushes that I'm just going to try and tease it off. And there, that's come off. Oops, no. try and get this out. I don't want this in the water now.